And we're back. No more Galaxy. Hi, everybody. What's going on? What's happening? So what did you guys think? What do you think of Eat You Alive, the song? What do you think of the album art? The big announcement, the album is coming out. It feels like I've given birth. This has been working on this for a minute. And it's so exciting. This album is like, it's fun. I think you guys are gonna really like it. I can't wait to like slowly unveil bit by bit until you have the whole thing. Yeah. Please feel free to send me some questions. I think there's a feature here where you can actually send an official question. There's like a little button down below, I think. So if you guys have any, I can see them. Yeah, see, I just got one. Hey, it's my birthday. Thank you for blessing the day with new music. Well, it's not a question, but you're welcome. Here's some more questions. Here you go. Will there be more photos and artwork for the album? Yes, there's more photos where that came from. Obviously when we put together a CD book and, all the stuff like the vinyl and all that, there's going to be pages of some interesting photos. Nick Knight was a dream to work with. I mean, I've been such a fan for so long. He's major, he's just like in the fashion world, it's like, oh yeah, he's the guy. I mean, he's been doing this for a while and he's just created such iconic imagery over the years. So it was such a treat to be able to work with him. It was cool too, because we didn't like over plan what we wanted to do. It was sort of like a lot of it was sort of created in the moment. Like, we would have the outfits and we would kind of go for it and ideas would come. So it felt really organic that way, which I like. I like working on anything creative in that way, where it's like, you don't have to plan too far in advance. Like some of it just happens as it happens. Oh wow, now there's a lot of questions. Let's see. Where are you now? I am in New York. I'm at my house. How long did you work on this album? I worked on this has been going for like a year and a half, I think, about. Pete Nappy is one of the main producers on this song, and he executive produced the whole album. And he's somebody that I worked with years ago, doing some writing sessions while I was working. I think it was around 2019, so I was working on like the Velvet stuff too at the time. And we did a song together that was really cool. It was very like industrial and kind of heavy, but that's not what I was really trying to do at the time. So I kind of saved it. And when it came time to kind of figure out what I wanted to do for this album, it was like, I listened to that song in my stack of old demos, and I was like, I want to go this direction. I want to go a little bit more industrial, a little heavier, a little darker. And I contacted Pete, and he was excited, and that's how the project started. What was your main inspiration for the new music? Can't wait to hear more. I think the 90s were like kind of, that seemed to be like the main reference point. I kept like thinking about, artists and groups and bands from the 90s and into the early 2000s, stuff that I was listening to when I was first sort of falling in love with contemporary music, so me as a teenager into young adulthood and like the stuff that kind of like made an impression on me. There's like, specifically there's like acts like Nine Inch Nails and Massive Attack and Prince from Prince, always Prince, but even like I remember hearing the stuff that Prince did in the 90s, for example. George Michael a little bit for some vocal flavor. But a lot of the rockier stuff, like Muse was like one of my favorite groups. And then there's always been this like sweet spot in between like alternative music and electronic music. In the 90s, it was like I mean, they called it electronica, which is not a word we use anymore, but it was like a little bit more of an indie electronic music, not necessarily EDM, but kind of like more experimental. Bjork, kind of, she like sat in that crossroads really well. Groups like Daft Punk was a little more dance, but that was kind of indie French house stuff. I mean, I'm rambling right now. The Chemical Brothers was really cool. The list goes on, but like there's just these groups. And actually, I have like a playlist that I'm going to put out pretty soon of just stuff that inspired me. So you guys can kind of hear like some of the references and influences. Yeah. Who else? I'm trying to think of other artists that definitely inspired the project. But just some of like the heavier stuff, the heavier, like deeper electronic and alternative sounding music. Oh, someone just said, is the album all dance music vibe? No, I wouldn't say this is, there's a few songs that feel like kind of electropop, a little dancey, but it's the tempo of the album is actually like kind of a medium tempo the whole time. And I always like to say, half serious, that it's a good album to walk to. It's got like a strutting effect to it. Whether it's like down the street or on a runway, it has that feeling. I think, I've moved to New York this last year, and that was like a big chapter change for me, a big new thing. And I feel like that, like the city has kind of inspired some of this, some of the feelings of this music, some of the vibe of it. And, being in New York, you walk everywhere. So I'm like, yeah, like this music, it makes me feel like I want to like strut down the street. Someone said, you mentioned the tipping point between good and bad, so light and dark vibe. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's always been something that I've kind of been drawn to. I've done that in a lot of my live shows too, where there's like, it starts dark and it kind of ends light, and back and forth. I think this album kind of does that as well. It's, there's this like, this very fine line between what makes something a positive experience and then how it can so easily kind of go south or go sour. And I feel like that's real talk. That's real life. It's I think as an artist for so many years, I put a lot of energy into idealism and always trying to be positive and always trying to be, encouraging and giving good advice. And that's still something I strive to do. But I think in growing up a little bit, I've become a little more realistic and honest with myself. And, life's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's, everybody can relate to this. There's the good days and the bad days, and you got to like take the good with the bad. So I guess it's me kind of getting back into sort of like a little bit of more of an emo sensibility and just like accepting that like some days are not great and some days are, and we all have stuff we go through personally that makes us alive and gives us joy, and then there's things we all go through that make us all a little bit like meh, meh. So I think this album kind of like looks at both of those things real directly and real honestly. And I think acceptance is huge. Self-acceptance is huge. It's such a process, and it's something that I'm constantly working at. I think the balancing point can be tricky too, because like you can look in the mirror at yourself and be really hard on yourself all the time, and that's not good because you're not allowing yourself to be happy. But being real about it and being honest and accepting the good things and the bad things, I think that's like a big step. It takes a lot of the pressure off of our need to be perfect all the time, and the people pleasing. And these are the things like the pitfalls we all fall into, especially like on the internet. So yeah, I think the album, it really like digs into sort of that like dichotomy of the good, the bad, and the ugly. What are some more questions here? Will it be a bitchy album? That's an interesting question. I mean, there's a couple songs that have some attitude for sure. I mean, even Eat You Alive is like, it's, you know, it's got some swag to it. And again, it's like, I always say like a lot of the you know, when I write music, it's like, it's aspirational. It's like the interior thoughts that you wish you had the balls to say to somebody out loud. And I'm pretty chatty and pretty open, but I keep a lot of things to myself, you know? So there's, you know, writing music is this sort of like, this way to sort of, to exorcise the demons, to sort of like process some of the you know, the inner thoughts, whether it's like about myself or about somebody that I'm talking to or some experience that I went through. You know, when it comes to sort of when it's directed at somebody else, it's like, I don't really like to fight with people or to make people uncomfortable, but like, you know, we all have thoughts about what we wish we could have said in a moment to somebody or whatever. And so there, you know, a lot of the songs are kind of like, you know, the interior monologue. What other questions are there? Weird question. Is your management team the same as Queen's? No, it is not. Where does the new album sit sonically compared to your previous work? Good question. I've done stuff in this world before. I feel like I've dipped into it. You know, I think, you know, a good example is that song "Runnin'," that a lot of you love so much. That's a great example of a song that's like, it's sort of electronic, but it's also sort of alternative rock leaning. I've definitely done that. Like, there's definitely been shades of that along the way. Even like some of the first album where it was like, there were songs that were like very sort of rock, and then it went like completely pop, and there was a little bit of a mix of both. I think without realizing it, I actually like started kind of like doing songs that sort of felt like they had been territory that I've explored before sonically, but I went further into it. And I do believe that the through line of the sounds on this album is really, it's cohesive. Like there's a through line sonically. So I can't wait for you guys to hear all of it. Now, y'all, you know, we haven't announced the rest of the songs yet, so you can't be asking me about favorite song on the album. You just have to wait and find out for those kind of questions. Is Pharaoh with me in New York? Yes, he is. He's staring at me because he probably wants more treats. What other questions do y'all have? Someone says, does Eat You Alive have a touch of dubstep? I always remember dubstep being sort of like, it's a type of synth bass thing, but it's a tempo. It's like a chopped up rhythmic thing as well. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is dubstep, but some of the weighty, heavy kind of like grindy synths, I guess I could see the connection there. Yeah, like a little bit. Oh, the artwork, it looks like you're wearing a suit of armor. Yeah, like people have been asking me about the meaning of it. I think, you know, I wouldn't overinterpret it because I think, you know, good art is, you know, open to everybody's own interpretation. And Nick took, we did a photo shoot, and he used a photo that he took and created this piece from that photo. And my creative director, Nikita, had, you know, he and I were talking, and the idea of a statue came up. I don't really know where it came from, but there's this idea of like a monument in a way. Like, you know, I ain't brand new. I've been here for a minute, you guys. You know that. I've been doing this for many, many years, and I've been doing recorded music now for like the past, 17 years? And I'm still here, damn it. And that to me is kind of like this monument. It's like, you know, I've been around. You know, it's the statue's a little weathered, you know, it's like there's pieces chipped away, and it's like you know, the environment has like taken its toll on the surface of it and whatnot, but it's still standing strong. And I think one of the things that I've noticed over the last decade or so is that, like, in order to like to keep going in this career of sort of being on display or being in the public eye, is like, I've felt personally that I've had to, you know, build a certain amount of armor up, you know? So I think that was one of the things that we wanted to kind of show, is like the statue on the cover is like stone and metal, and it's like, that's the armor. I mean, there's a lot of different ways of looking at it. It could also be looking like, it's like kind of like there's a little Egyptian energy in there. It's like a sarcophagus. Maybe I'm, you know, restoring my body inside like a vampire. I don't know. There's a lot of like very fantastical kind of ways to interpret it. Someone said Tin Man. I was like, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, maybe the question is like, if I only had a heart, you know, I mean, that, and maybe that kind of is a way to look at these songs on this album, is like, you know, constantly searching for the heart of the matter, you know, and the emotion underneath the thoughts, which is very Aquarius of me. I'm an Aquarius, by the way, for those of you who didn't know. So there's a lot of like self-actualization in the imagery and in the music. It's kind of like, yeah, I've looked in the mirror. This is the honest portrait of who I am right now in this moment in time. And, you know, that's why I've called the album Atom. Simple as that. I was thinking of album names, and I was like, you know what? Let's just call it Atom. Let's just like, to the point, self-titled. Okay, I'm still rambling. I'm going to try to find another question here. Yeah, these are more the questions of what's the vibe of the album. So again, there's some more like heavy kind of weighty stuff, but just so you know, there are some lighter moments. So get ready for that. Any more questions? Let me see. I think this question feature is overloaded. I'm very flattered. Oh, good, we started over. Why don't you live in LA anymore? That's a good question. I think I just needed a change. You know, I was in LA for like 25 years. And I don't know, I think change is good. It's good for the soul, it's good for the spirit. You know, I was out here doing cabaret on Broadway for 6 months, and I made the decision during that run. And I just kind of was like, yeah, you know what? I always dreamed of living in New York, and I never did it. And I think being out here doing a show on Broadway and sort of, you know, getting to know more of the theater community out here, and people, you know, out in nightlife here, I was like, you know what, maybe now's the time. And so it was. And I'm loving it. I love New York. It's great. I'm not going to get into the what's better, LA or New York thing, because like I don't think there's a point in comparing the two. I mean, they each have their Their good qualities and their bad qualities. Cool glasses, where'd you get them from? These are Rick Owens. You know, I'm a big Rick Owens fan. I wear a lot of his stuff. Will there be more singles? Good question. Yes. Yes, there will be. Yeah, there's some questions here that I cannot answer yet. You'll have to see. Looking at these questions, you guys. Hi, Adam. Will Eat You Alive be a little longer on the album? Nope, that's how long it is. That's the song. The song's out, so that's the song. If it doesn't feel long enough, just hit repeat. I think that might be a good way to satisfy your hunger for it. And if you get to the end of the song and it leaves you wanting more, then maybe I did something right. Oh, cute. Yeah, someone said, it's like the armor is kind of transparent, like you're sharing more of you, the man behind the armor. Yeah, that is definitely a vibe. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll find that in the music on the album, is that it is sort of like seeing under certain layers and understanding other, maybe more hidden parts and deeper thoughts. Is the Muffin Man included on the new album? No, I'm sorry to say we are not including the Muffin Man on the new album. That's hilarious. Oh, how do you feel about something like Heated Rivalry being on the mainstream nowadays? That's a good question. Obviously, I have very little interest in hockey, so that some parts of the show I'm like, But I was really, what I really loved about the whole phenomenon about that show doing so well and becoming so popular is that it just sends the signal to everybody that like, gay is cool, gay is okay, and maybe the people watching it, I know that there were a lot of fans that probably don't identify as LGBTQ, but they really loved the show. And that just also proves the point of like, romance and the ins and outs of courting somebody or having a complicated relationship. It's universal. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. It's like matters of the heart. We all feel stuff for people, and if fans out there who are identifying as straight really love the show, it's like, yeah, you're seeing past your own experiences and you're relating to something. I also love that it like sends the message to the industry that it's like gay material is not something to be afraid of. It's actually, there's this whole wealth of storytelling that you can open yourself up to if you're willing to sort of break down those barriers, Trying to find some more questions, y'all. Most recent tattoo. I haven't gotten one in a while. I don't know. I think I want to get something like on my chest or my thigh. I don't know. Like I have a couple spots that I feel like I could put something, but I haven't found an image that I'm like, oh, I gotta get that tattooed on me. I haven't found anything in a while. But when I do, I'll try to do it. And I'll let you guys know. Will there be softer songs on this album? Yeah, there is. I'll tell you one thing. There's a ballad that I'm really, really proud of. That's pretty heartfelt. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that. yeah, there's like a whole range of emotional energy on this album. I mean, I do have fun on it. I get aggressive, I get sad, I get introspective. I hopefully try to be inspiring on some of it. It definitely runs the range of feelings, so you'll get a full experience. It's going to be so fun to do live. What's your favorite line from Eat You Alive? Good question. It's either "This aftertaste will never leave you alone" or "Motherfucker, you're mine." I was saying to somebody the other day, I'm like, they're like, how do you interpret lyrics? I'm like, well, they're pretty direct. It's not much to read between the lines on this one. It kind of says it. But I was like joking that it's like a very dramatic way of saying, I have a lot of love to give. I have a lot of love to give and I ain't afraid to use it. How's that? Oh, someone's saying, yeah, does the album cover refer to the style of Fritz Lang's Metropolis? Yeah. That, it's so funny. That wasn't really actually even intentional at first, but when I was on set shooting with Nick, there was another kind of idea that we had, and Metropolis came up in conversation, and I was like, oh yeah, that kind of, and it was an interesting photo that you'll see later. It was kind of a blurry kind of abstract photo, and it like something about it reminded me of that movie, those stills from the that I've seen of. And clips that I've seen of the mechanical person in that movie. So I think we ran with that. I think Nick took that sort of period, that sort of deco influence and weaved it into that cover art, which I love. Yeah, it feels cool. I think one of the other things about the image another reason why I saw in my mind like a statue, was, I watch a lot of films, right? And I love like the post-apocalyptic kind of sci-fi stuff. I've been known to play some video games into that kind of world. I liked the idea of the world for this album kind of being this dystopian, future thing. To me, that's the way a lot of the tracks sound on the album. They have this like sort of metallic, distressed sort of sound. And there's like a grunginess to some of it. And I feel like that, like I wanted to feel like it was, dusty and dirty and sort of polluted a little bit, like not super pure, but kind of like it's been through it. I liked that idea. You guys are asking me about features, but we haven't announced the features yet. It's not on the track listing. So what are you all looking at? I'm not going to say anything. So yes, I've just told you there are collaborations on the album. Aw. Someone says, I don't know why, but for me, this song is a return to my favorite album for your entertainment. It's funny. I don't think I purposely set out to do that, but then as everything sort of, was getting finished, I kind of realized that, like, when I put the album together and the flow of it, I was like, there's some direct similarities to For Your Entertainment, I think. I think for longtime fans, I hope that you'll feel a sense of nostalgia there. I think, again, yeah, it was like not fully intentional, but I realized that I kind of, for whatever reason, have circled back to some of those musical instincts from that first album, which is cool, but obviously done in an updated way, both music production wise and life experience wise. So yeah, that's kind of fun. I think I've been like very much in the full circle mentality lately. Like there's things that I experienced over the past couple years that feel like they're connecting back to an older chapter of me, or a younger chapter, rather. Getting back on stage and doing musical theater last year was like, I hadn't done that in a very long time. And that kind of reminded me of like a different version of myself, like a younger version. And that was like a nice reminder, Any more questions, guys? I'm scrolling through them. Let's see. Oh, someone's asking about video games. Have you played The Last of Us? I didn't play The Last of Us. I didn't play that one. What is this filter now? I think when I scroll through, it's like hitting a filter. That's funny looking. I swear I did not turn that on. I don't know if that's some beauty filter or what is going on right now. Oh, I have lips. I don't have lips. This filter is ridiculous. I don't know how to turn it off. What's your favorite fragrance right now? I just got a new fragrance called Silent Fury by Margiela. They just came out with like a new series of fragrances, and it is so good. I I put it on during the day, obviously, and I even put it on to go to bed because I love the smell of it so much. It's so addictive. I can't figure out how to turn off this filter, you guys. Oh, are you trying to keep, what does you say? Are you able to keep the same level of vocal acrobatics range with age? That's a really good question. Your voice does change as you get older, and I've been doing this for a long time. I turned 44 this year, and my voice feels like it's in great shape, but over 20 years, your voice changes, So I've noticed, I don't live up in the stratosphere quite like I used to when I was younger. I can still wail, I can still push it and give you some drama. But the quality of it's changed. It's a little thicker now than it was when I was younger, my voice. And I'm not quite as agile up, in that high belt. And it's funny because I look back on that now, some of those performances on Idol or, around that time. And I'm like, damn, girl, you were really going for it. And older me now is like, whew, I'm tired listening to that. I think my energy level has settled a bit. I think when I was younger, I had so much adrenaline. And now I've kind of gotten into more of a cruise control, which feels good. And that's age and experience. So I think, both in life and in my performance style on stage, I think I've maybe downshifted a bit, which is great. It feels like it's more sustainable. Age really does that, huh? Yeah, it really does. But there's good things that come from it too. I have lower notes in my voice, in my range than I had when I was younger. I can warm up a song differently. I can hit, it used to be sometimes that the verses of a song, if they were lower, I would be kind of I'm just waiting for the chorus. Now I feel like I can sit into a warmer sound on the low end, which I think is really exciting. It's a new dimension that's opened up to me. And also when I do some of the higher stuff still now, it has a little more texture to it, which I like the sound of that. It feels rock and roll, Self-titled album usually comes at the start of a career. Is there almost a vibe of taking something back from the industry and being authentically you? I guess. I mean, I don't know if there's a rule of like when you self-title an album. I guess maybe the thought is that it's an introduction. So I hear what you mean there, but I think it was just like, it just seemed like the most natural thing for this album to do, because I haven't done that before. I guess, this is my first time sort of like, I'm paying for this whole thing myself. This is self-funded. I'm not on a major label. I've done that before, and it's great. They're great. They give you a lot of money to play with, but the trade-off is that then you're sort of compromising a lot of the creativity and the choices. And with this album, I definitely had a lot of really amazing help, 100%, like people that I listened to. But I hired them myself. So I picked people that I knew I could trust, and I knew that I wanted to hear from about the creative, about the music, about the imagery, about the strategy, all that stuff. So I feel very much like in the driver's seat and empowered in my career as a professional and as an artist. This album is like, I'm driving, which feels good. And I've been through like a bunch of different career setups, whether it be like different management companies and different labels, and it's all been good. I've had like a lot of great experiences, but this feels really good to like do it a little differently this time, and to just be, to be creatively in control, 100%. Yeah. So I feel like that's another reason why I wanted to call it Adam. It was like, this is time, Have you seen Gottmik's music video? Yeah, it's so good. I love Gottmik. I think that's probably good for now, you guys. Please make sure you pre-order the album, whether it's on Spotify or iTunes or whatever platform you use. That pre-save is actually really important because it shows the demand for the product, which is great for playlisting and stuff. So if you can hit pre-save for me, it means so much. I would really appreciate it. Someone just said, why are you self-funding it? Because when you fund a music project yourself, you don't have to listen to anybody, to put it quite bluntly. When you have a big company fund your project, they like to have a lot of ideas, and sometimes they're good ideas, and sometimes they don't really know what they're talking about. So I think and everyone has opinions, and we're all entitled to them. But like, I wanted it to be the most authentic version of me. This album. It's like, I wanted the ideas to start and end with me. And in a weird way, I think that's the best way I can give you guys a great experience, something that's authentically coming from me. And that everything that was on this album, it was something that I was passionate about and that I listened to, and I wanted it to sound a certain way. So I think you guys will appreciate it. Is marriage and kids in your future? I don't know if I want kids, to be honest. I have a niece and nephew that I really love, and that's good for me for now. I mean, I have a dog. That's my child, who's sitting at my feet right now going, are we going to eat more? Will there be a physical album? Yes. Actually, if you guys, a lot of the links here on Instagram and on all the other platforms, There's definitely a link now to like a little splash page where you can pre-save the album on streaming services, and you can order physical copies. We're printing vinyls. That's been really exciting. We're doing old school CDs. We're even doing cassettes for anybody that has, I don't know anybody that has a cassette deck, but it's a fun thing to have. So yes, we're doing it all. It's going to be great. Vinyls, yes, and vinyl. We're definitely doing vinyls. And I will be signing some copies. Yes, someone asked just that. I plan on signing copies. It looks like the filter finally turned off. Thank God. That was really weird. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. There will be much more to come, and I hope you are excited for Adam. Again, please pre-save. Also, a reminder for anybody on any of the streaming services, on Spotify or Apple Music, make sure you hit follow on me, because then when new songs come out, you get they automatically pop up for you. That helps with everything. And yeah. Check out the website's been relaunched. You can check that out. My amazing graphic designer, Ryan, has been creating some amazing digital things for all y'all. And yeah, I love you very much, and I can't wait for you guys to hear more. This is the beginning of a new era. This is my 7th era, I would say. So here we go. 7's a good number. It's the 6th full-length original studio album, but it's the 7th era, because I consider Afters 2 years ago as its own era. That was its own moment, and it was really fun. So it was an EP. It wasn't a full-length project, but it was a world. It was a time. Yeah. So thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you in person somewhere very soon. All right. Bye.